Good morning, everyone. Happy Passover, Eastern, Good Friday, whatever you're celebrating, or just early weekend. It's gonna be a slow session. Um, uh, Most of Europe is indeed on. When I was still working in the Netherlands, a lot of the times we only had Good Friday, a couple of I think every 4 years we had Good Friday off. So a lot of companies are still operating though, but financial markets are closed. So, but people are still working. But anyway, I thought, well, we can have a look at the at price action. But I also thought it might be nice to go over some trading because it was I managed to get. I demo traded yesterday only, but it was a 200 point over 200 point demo trade in the opening using the logic of what happened in London, and I didn't take it and no monetary value for me because I only demo trade on Thursday. Now it was a very clean trade, and I missed the monetary value of it, but I was still happy to see it. I posted it in the Discord. Hey, P1 Tag. Hey, Steven Mix. What brokers are available for trading? Well, I use prop firms, and my personal broker for my own account is Edge Clear, which I'm affiliated with because they're the only broker that as a non-US citizen, gave me the access to work with a US-based broker on their foreign program. And so I don't know if you're looking for your own broker or are you looking for a prop firm broker. Prop firms, I don't do any codes on prop firms because I don't trust them in the long term. I like Funded Next for the time being, but you never know what happens. And I don't want to make anyone of making any money of. No, I don't make any advertisement for prop firms. But there are people out there, but be aware that they want you to use their code because they make more money on prop firm codes than they do on trading most of the times. But yeah, there's a lot of information out there on prop firms. So you're new to trading, Steven, if I may ask, are you totally new to trading or are you just new to prop firms? Because if you're new to trading, definitely you should not have your own broker yet. You should really focus on demo trading first, then prop firm, and then when you make enough money by following the rules, then you're ready to get your own account. Hey Bowser, how are you doing? Okay. As price is not doing a lot, let me double check quickly. Yeah, we're still consolidating. I mean, we have Asia high, Asia low. We've got here. I want to go over yesterday's trade because it's so interesting. I want to go over London session yesterday and also why New York was so interesting and the trade that I took, which demo, but it was 215 points. I'll show you. I'm just going to use the opening range. I noticed by my journaling that every trade, if I have a losing, because remember guys, I was struggling a little bit in London. I put up a trade and I thought it would go long. It was a long. I thought it would go higher, but it failed, right? And that already after it failed, it gave me the information like, okay. Because most of the times when I have a losing trade, it's either we're in accumulation or in a manipulation phase. And I mistake the manipulation phase for distribution already. So if my long doesn't work out and I'm using all my rules and it doesn't work out, it triggers me and I know, okay, we've just been creating liquidity for the next session or maybe within or for the next move. And remember, we stopped the stream. Let me go back a little bit. Go back because this was the area we were looking at yesterday. Right? So we were here in London. Now, I love breakers, and like this is like one could argue here we're at 2 o'clock. there was a rejection block on the higher time frame. I already had that in my mind. Okay, if we create a breaker here, for example, I already knew that we could have the sweep into the rejection block. But I'm always aware when it's a rejection block, you know, a rejection block becomes liquidity afterwards, right? Because you reject in that wick, we go back up, and most of the time it goes back further down. You can see this structure here. This is the sweep that I thought, okay, well, we were starting to go up. And I know Mr. Chaos Factor, he took the long here. I wasn't ready to take a long here because for me, this wasn't a clear break of structure yet, although I could see here the market structure shift. But it was too spotty for me. And I was looking at these two here and I was like, I don't like it yet. And then I missed the silver bullet. This was a clear silver bullet here. Okay. This was a candle here. 251 we had displacement in a macro. There we go. And that should have been the trade. And then we went into it at 324. We also used 324. We have the 20 to 40 runs as macro. We consider those valid time-based macros, right? Not ICT macros, but so this should have been the run. Now, this is actually, in hindsight, is always very easy but in hindsight, we journal, and that's where you learn, right? So I've noticed that when you have a breaker, you want to use the manipulation lag to calculate your standard deviations because we already had quite a bit of data to the left. Now, I had a long bias from here, which was incorrect because we were accumulating. We were just in the accumulation phase because here you can see it clearly. Let me mark it. We were accumulating here still. And then we have this here was the real breaker structure. Here came the real, and this was just all still accumulating. And that's why I'm always, when I'm wrong, it's always in the accumulation phase. So that's always triggers me like, okay, I have a losing trade. I made a mistake. I'm stopped out. Why? So this is the manipulation phase, A, M, and then we have the distribution here. I'm not going to mark the distribution, but that was, so A, M. A. Now, why did I take this? This was such a beautiful, it was so beautiful, this one. I'll show you guys. I already knew it was a large, because when you went to RTH, we already knew it was going to be a major gap, right? Because we know where it closed here, and we just had to wait until 9:30. You just have to wait until 9:30 until it opens, and then you have your exact range. The first thing you do is grade it. That's the first thing you do. There you go. Now on the 15-minute, I already saw there was a 15-minute FUG right above the 0.5 of this move. Let me show you guys. So I already had that all. I have to take this out. Well, my journaling is here. There's no secret here, but it's just messy. There's no personal stuff. I don't want to erase the other drawing. So, but anyway. So I already noticed on the 15-minute. Drawings. What happened here? Yeah, here we go. So I was looking at this, and let's say this wasn't here yet. So I was already looking here, and I'm like, okay, we've got a 15-minute FUG. So I marked that already because I thought, okay, let me see if we go up, if this might be a area that we are going to go into. Here we go. I'll change it to FUG. And then I waited till the open. I did a pre-market prep, and I was already eager. I was very eager to enter on the into the opening range, but it was too early. I didn't wait for the macro. So so we opened up, and I was actually live on pre-market prep. And I already had established the accumulation, and I was like, okay, well, you know what? We had also Asia high here, right? Yeah, Asia high. We didn't take that out, but when I noticed that the 50% of the opening range gap was just a little bit above this FUG at that time, I was like, okay. I got in and I just only played it up to here, only up to 50%. So then, now this wasn't an easy, it wasn't a little bit, it wasn't clear, but I played it off the IFUGs. I'll show you guys later on. I'll go to the lower time frame. I'll go back. But for me, it was like, okay, if I see where the 50%, if it matches with here in this fair value gap, I'm just going to play it up to 50%. From the moment it gets in, just up to 50%. Let me see. It was 250 points on demo, but still good enough for me. I'll go to the lower time frame to show you the trade. It was somewhere. This was a trade somewhere here. Let's go. Okay, I'll go to the, I think the 3 minute was good enough, I think, yesterday. Okay, here we go. So I got stopped because I had a long here, but it didn't take out the long. So I was looking back and like, look at this. It's created trend line liquidity. So I knew, okay, it left this, and obviously we had already this whole sell side. This is just a market maker model, and plus knowing that we had this opening range gap, it was such a, I mean, it doesn't get cleaner and easier like that, to be honest. And even here there were still opportunities, but then it went straight. This is typical NFP Thursday price action. But there was just one move. I wish I took, in all honesty, I wish I took it, but I'm just going to stick to my rules. I'll go to the 1 minute because it's still not clear here. No, it is clear. Let me just stick to the 3 minute. So you got your first your IFUG here, right over here. But still, I was too early here. I was too early, and this took me out because I was impatient. I wanted to get in, and I think Bowser, you were. I did that on pre-market prep. I'm like, I'm getting in, and I got in here. I saw this display. I'm like, I'm going to take it already. I don't want to miss it, and I got stopped out. But later, I reassessed and like, you know what? The moment it enters here again, and with this candle, and I'll show you. There's another inversion, and this was the inversion that I used, and this was exactly 950. This candle here, that was the retest of the inversion. That was my entry. So one time I got stopped out, all demo, and retest of the inversion, and I had this was already mitigated here, so we could, okay, you know, it doesn't need to go lower, and now it's going to take out this liquidity, and for me this was a safe trade just up to the 15-minute fair value gap. Now you can see it went much higher, right? So there were also opportunities here, but then again, 1027. This was just opening range gap. I mean, this was just who also used the opening range gap to trade this, or used just the logic of how price has been behaving. But this was for me, so using the opening range gap, it just helps me so much in my trading. Yeah, so actually the trade was a little bit different. Here it goes. I took it from here. This was the entry, exactly, yeah. Here, and then my stop was a little bit lower, below the IFUG, somewhere, yeah, 215, exactly here. So this was the trade. So my entry was boom. The moment it went out of the FUG here. So this went higher, boom, it went down the wick. So it was very, very fast. And this was 950 exactly. Should be 950. I took it at 950, so it was here, I guess. Okay, I guess I took it higher here. Okay, I think I took it at 950, but that's not. No, I took it here. Yeah, you see this candle here? It closed. So we have open, it goes higher, then we had a low. So I already had, it was a little bit too early to be honest, but it already entered for me. It was the end, when it entered the opening range, I was okay. I think we're ready to blast off now because of this structure here. But technically it was better to wait for this candle, but I got in, it went up, and I just entered when it hit this, boom, that's it, and then up to here. So that was the trade. Yeah, on demo. Beautiful, just beautiful. Anyone else? How did you determine that the low was already formed? I was expecting the market to take out the low and then shoot up, but it just ran away. Because of the accumulation here. And okay, that's a very good question. Now, I also marked this. On the 15-minute, oh, I'm in the wrong area again. Hold on, I'm so confused. Because I was looking like, I always think about, so when do you have a market structure shift? You have a new high or low form, then you have your CISD, and then you have the breaker, right? So the breaker is your sort of like your last confirmation for a market structure shift. Now I was already looking at the 15-minute within, because my trade filled here. I'm like, okay, this area I need to look more into it, but I couldn't really see it on the lower time frame. So I went to the 15-minute, and let me get rid of all these things here now because we have this data. So I was marking, I think, okay, what can be future breakers? So I need a sweep into the high. I already looked, like, what do I have on the lower time frame here? Like, what's the higher time frame PDRA? If I get a sweep, so I already noticed on the 15-minute there was a FUG here. So you do that in advance already. You look, okay, because what are the rules for a breaker? You need a sweep you need liquidity taken, and it needs to go into a higher time frame PDRA, and then the breaker needs to get activated. But technically, I front ran the 15-minute breaker, but the structure wasn't really clear to me on the lower time frame, and I already noticed that because obviously NFP Thursday, and I had to use in this case for the entry, the IFUGs, but I already had these 15-minute. So my idea was, okay, the opening range gap, we're going in and we're going to activate those 15-minute breakers. So that was my logic. So let me mark it for you. So the manipulation was here. So I marked these 15-minute potential future breakers. So this was all formed already, right, in pre-market, 6:30, 7 o'clock, and this was already where my trade filled because I was aiming for higher. It filled, and then I go back. I'm like, okay, what did I miss? Okay, we were creating liquidity right over here. So I marked this as potential future breaker here, right over here. This one. I also marked these two because I thought, okay, well, and I didn't know, I knew that we're going to have a large gap. I didn't know where we're going to be at 9:30, so I didn't know how big the gap was. So I just marked these two and I just waited. Here we go. So I waited. And then the market opened and I got impatient and I thought, oh, we're going to activate because I saw where the opening range gap was. And I got in too early. Now you see, this is a little bit tricky here, right? You go up, down, up, and then, but this, I already knew that this went into the 15-minute fair value gap. And then with the inversion, and this 9:30 retested that first inversion. But I got in too early somewhere on the lower time frame here already. We can have a look again at the lower time frame. What happened? Because my impatience always gets me. So, but it was a small loss. And it was on the pre-market prep. Was too impatient. Let's see. But I knew, it's just like sometimes you think you know something, and then because you are so convinced, that's where my trap of my impatience comes in. And so here, this level here, so you already have your 15-minute. You already know, okay, 15-minute FUG is there. Pump coming. So here, this low here. So we went into at 8 o'clock. It already went into that low, right? So at 9 o'clock, we didn't go lower, but I used that inversion. So that was the trick. And then this one, that was the other inversion that I used, which was near the entry. Yeah. Okay, so I just want to go over it because it was such a nice, but you have to use, like, it just makes it always clear to me when I have a losing trade or a failed trade. It gives me so much data. Now I want to go back to my old screen. Let me go back and let's see if we can have a trade. Let me know if you have any questions on this, guys, because it was such a... But without the opening range, it would have been a little bit harder. But then the data is still there of the left side of the curve, right? It was a beautiful market maker model. And Asia high was also left for us. Okay, let's go back into the normal charts now. Who else took it? Look at the breakout and trailed stops. Yeah, no, I was, because I had that failed trade in London, I was already triggered. Because I know now, every time my trade doesn't work, it's because I am either in accumulation phase or I'm mistaking the manipulation phase for distribution. And it's always the same thing now. And I'm always confused. You can tell me, I don't see, you can hear it from me. I'm like, I don't see it. Well, and when I journal it, and it's easy to journal it in hindsight because it's like you see it clearly, but when you're zoomed in the chart, you don't see it. But I'm almost now, when I'm not seeing it correctly, and if I'm like, okay, I think we're in accumulation. I just have to zoom out later on and let it form a little bit more, and I'll get my information. But this was, it was such a beautiful. I mean, it was just beautiful. But yeah, no, I didn't take it on my live account or on my evals, nothing, just demo. But hey, if you can take it on demo, next time you'll see it and you'll take it again. Let me change my screen to the correct window. Why are you not changing? What are your name? What is your name? Cycles. Okay. Oh, there we go. Are we in? Yes, we're in. Okay, it's changed. What did you say about it? Do we have a breakout coming? Oh, it looks pretty. But it's hard sometimes to zoom out, right? It's really it's difficult sometimes to zoom out, and then or you zoom out too late, and then it's already. But when you journal, what I notice when I forget doing it, and I journal it, it sort of like trains your brain to do it faster and to do it more often, and in between sessions and during sessions. And you see me scroll between times all the time, and people say, "Oh, you don't need to scroll between." I'm like, yeah, well, I sort of like need to do it to be able to see where I'm at and what I'm doing. Okay, let's go to the daily. Let's go back into that's a higher time frame. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, guys, I'm it's not really, I'm not interested in trading today as well because it's the day we're at, and I'm more interested in just looking at the market and just going over some stuff and prepare ourselves for. So, oh, we have this little jabbing dog here. He just jabs at even birds and stuff like that. He's so stupid. This dog is so stupid. I mean, I like dogs, but not the stupid ones, the ones that are too stupid to literally think, and just know how to pee and poo and bark. That's all they can do, literally. And they're just an annoyance because they just bark all day. And they don't have any value because when they bark, the people don't even know that there is a intruder because they bark all the time. So people are like, the intruder just passes the dog and it just barks, and they still. I love both of them, but I just don't see the value of those small little yapping dogs. And because people say, yeah, if you need a small yapping dog, and then you'll have an intruder. I'm like, these people have had an intruder in their home because the dog barks all the time, and they didn't even hear the intruder because of the dog barking. That's the irony of it. And the intruder was just getting all the stuff, and they're like, oh, he's barking again. There's probably some monkey or some bird. And the intruder, he was just, gathering his things, and they were like not even, they were sitting in another area of the house, and they just, and they don't even bother with, because they're so used to the barking. And because of the barking, the intruder just, and it was an inside job, definitely, I think. But yeah, it is just, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, we have a dog because we know when there's an intruder. Yeah, you don't really, because you're sort of missing the point. You need an intelligent dog to help to get intruders, but not a stupid jabbing dog. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? I mean, we had a break-in as well, and the guy who lives said, yeah, I'm going to bring my dog now every day. And I said, listen, they're watching you. They're going to see you leave with your dog as well. And he said, well, oh yeah, well, I didn't think about that. Yeah. But anyway, the monthly chart. So we went into this monthly fair value gap right on Monday. So we created this wick. Now the question is, are we going to go into this wick and maybe into this gap? So this is going to be, I think, for next week of interest. Now the question is, we did not go above 50% of the body yet. It looks like we're going to go further down, right? But yeah, I would definitely keep the monthly, the 50% of the monthly wick also a little bit. Might be interesting. If it goes higher, we might at some point. This wick is too long. What do you guys think on the monthly? I think we're going to go deeper into, we're going to retest the IFUG again. Yeah, maybe we want to go higher into this area on the weekly, right? Look here. It looks like a beautiful retest here. Sort of a unicorn. And we go higher, right? Don't you think? Turkeys, hey Juan Lagos, turkeys are much better guards than dogs, are they? Oh, Sebastian, you're missing a lot of information. The wicks are so powerful. The wicks are just gaps, and especially on the monthly, weekly, you actually should. I mean, I get so much information from them, especially the monthly and the weekly. Last week's example, I mean, you've got a beautiful example here. We went to exactly 50%. If you're talking about algorithmic values, look here. If you want to miss that information, it went to exactly 50% of the wick and went lower. I use them as TPs and as entry points. And another last time we had also 50% exactly on the monthly wick, and we rejected and we turned there. So, well, so you're actually, Sebastian is actually contradicting a little bit yourself, to be honest, because if it's algorithmic driven, those wicks are, well, Sebastian, listen. So I've been really using those wicks since ICT. He came out with using those larger wicks, and he only shows the daily. And I was like, okay, he shows the daily. And he started grading them, and it's the wicks that are normally here. And I started studying them, and so then I was like, yeah, but if they work on the daily, they should work on the monthly and all the other time frames as well. So the logic is this: a wick is a bunch of gaps, and a gap is manipulation, right? So we have accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Now, what does the market do? The market does only two things. The market seeks liquidity and balances out imbalances. What is a wick? A bunch of imbalances. So the larger the wick, the more imbalances it is. So the more it will use it to move through it towards liquidity. So I think I have, I don't want to say specialized myself in the imbalances of a market and finding balanced price ranges. And then liquidity is for me the next thing. But for me, the imbalances have become more important, thus the wicks. So I've been sort of like really diving into using the wicks as that's why you see me grading them continuously. But the logic is because they are the imbalances that the markets are working through. So if you have a wick as well, it takes more time to work through them because the market is balancing out itself. And then the next thing that I am using is, okay, but then where is it done? Balancing out, because the moment an area is balanced, that is the area that it will move away from. So wicks are literally, look, I'm going to make I made a joke a while back. I made a joke, I love large wicks. Because everybody says, oh, wicks are do the damage and bodies tell the story. Yes, when we use fair value gaps to see if things are staying within a range, but those wicks that go outside that range, those are the manipulation. But what is a manipulation? That's are the imbalances that we need to define the area that will be balanced at some point. So yeah, I mean, it's sort of like a totally different mind shift for me, but it made me. I mean, I started to see the market in a totally different view, and it really helped me in my P&L, so to speak, using the wicks. So for me, actually, if you ask me what is more important for you, the liquidity or the imbalances of a market, I find the imbalances more powerful for me. And then the wicks are always the cherry on the top. The liquidity, the highs and the lows are the cherry on the top. But what's in between, that's where you want to focus on. I think especially on the higher time frame because it helps you a lot. But anyway, that was just how I wanted to point out. I hope it makes sense a little bit because it's algorithmically delivered. It's the imbalances that really show you the roadmap, and then once we've gone through the imbalances, then the market is ready to take liquidity. It's an internal, external thing, right? So, but yeah, it's not. I mean, it's a little bit rabbit hole talk. So, I'm sorry, guys. I'm a bit of a nerd. You know, I love. Like I said, I call it a treasure hunt. And when ICT teaches something, I always dive a little bit deeper into the subject. Like if he says, oh, he only shows it on the daily, he never talks about monthly, weekly, yearly. And same with TGIF, the logic, it applies. Oh, it's only TGIF on the weekly. I'm like, really? Doesn't it apply to other candles as well? And then I start, taking the logic a little bit further, and then you're like, oh, look at this, look at that, look at, he teaches things, but he keeps it generic in a way. But then you have to look a little bit deeper and figure out the stuff. Do you mind having a look at the cycles? There is an indicator called market answer and shows a monthly reversal candle. We want to tap the open of March. Juan Lagos, I'm not going to look at any other indicators right now. But feel free to, if you have a good tip, feel free to post it in the Discord. I have to make a new tab though, because I've given Mether the free, because Mether is going to make some new, or he already has some free indicators. Oh, he posted it already. Okay, guys. Well, I see Mether already posted it. Mether has made some awesome free indicators, and yeah, guys, check them out. He already, let me see. Oh, Mether, if you're here, I don't know if he's here. He didn't say the names of the indicators. Okay. Well, maybe he doesn't want me to announce it yet. Maybe I'm too early. Well, we've been announcing them all the time here. I mean, we know that he's been working on it. Okay. Well, let me not. I will just wait for some more confirmation from him. But Juan Lagos, you're saying that market answer and shows a monthly reversal candle. We want to tap to the open of March. So you're saying we are going to March. Yeah, I don't want to trust anyone's. You know what? I'll be honest. I don't want to trust anyone's indicator if I don't know how they think or how they what their because it's all coded by people, right? Look, if you would use your OTE levels here, I mean, at some point we want to go into this large wick. We want to go to discount and premium. We always want to look at that. So, there we go. So I also wouldn't be surprised if we go a little bit deeper into this range here before going higher again. And we have a little gap here. I noted that as well here. So yeah, and we have a flat. You see here on the weekly, guys. Here, it's not a devil's mark, but it's a very small wick. So I can see that Juan Lagos. We go into this area maybe. But yeah, who knows? But I'm thinking for now it might want to go a little bit into these wicks here because there's a lot of work to do here. So so we have an inversion forming here. So we want to watch this on the daily. If we have a body closure above this level here, which Sebastian, can you see this as well? So you see the 0.5 that I used on the previous week. You see that 0.5 is used again here. If we have a closure here, like for example, what you would like to see is a displacement candle going through, and then if you have a closure above this, we have a confirmed inversion, which will also help us to go a little bit higher, right? So you really want, and it's used this level again. So what you want to see is a displacement through this level and displacement through, so let's say a fair value gap maybe perhaps. on the daily. That might give us a very, very strong um, confirmation of the inversion and the displacement itself to a algorithmic level, because they're algorithmic, especially CE levels. Um, that will also confirm most of the times a move to the upside. So what ICT also has been sharing, that if these levels are being respected, you want to see displacement through them. And that means then those are the valuable FUGs and the PD arrays. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just, no, it's funny because you said, yeah, because it's algorithmically, I don't use them. And I'm like, well, that's actually because it's algorithmic, you should use them. Yeah. So, and you see, most likely what will happen is that we might get displacement through it with a up close candle. And what I would like to see is that it goes through it, and I want to see it maybe reject in here, but I want to see the body closure above here at some point. But it could still reject, right? It could still use this and go back lower and then maybe do it. So, but yeah. So this, I have this level definitely is on my interest. Yeah, there's not really much happening, is there, in the market? We're just gonna keep this short. I just want to, yeah, give some. Do you guys have some other question? No, that's an old one of Zusi Frank 369, but it's not active. It's not live anymore. There are better. Is this one Smart Money Time? But it's not live anymore. If you have Mether Z, he created. There are other ones that you can use that are better. Should delete it. Yeah. Let's check Methers, because Mether. I'll check Methers. I want to check Methers. Let's do that. I don't know Mether. I think he's on. He's having time with his family, so I don't think he's here. But let's go to Method C. So he has been creating some nice indicators and is willing to share them with us. Let's see, SMT divergence. I'm just going to check it. I haven't checked them out all. Let's see what he has been up to. He's a very good coder. American New York, that's correct. Max time frame, I want that. Minimum divergence, I don't want minimum. One SMT strict pairs. Delete invalidated. Okay, let's see. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty awesome what he's been doing. You see, he also marks the 4 hour on which time frame it is. I like that. So this is Methersees. Is ICT SMT divergence. Hey Victoria, how are you doing? Now let's see if I go on the monthly, or I had it maxed out on the daily. Um, I still want to time. I want to check something. Hold on. I'm going to go back to. I know it's not active anymore, but I want to check something. I thought there was yearly SMT on somewhere, and I wanted to see if I missed if that was detected. The higher time frame yearly. Yeah, she's not working anymore. I think yearly SMT. Here we go. Yeah, I don't see the line anymore. This was the one I was looking at, but I can't see no lines. So I was looking for this one here, but there's no line. So yeah, I don't use the Smart Money by TeamU. Only if you pay for it. Frank has become a course seller now, so he's just really like really. It was all getting people into, it was a free indicator, and then it's not free, and now he's just really pushing courses and selling stuff, and so I'm not really that interested anymore. You see, you look at the 4 hour, how beautifully here. We have another Devil's Mark at 2 p.m. Ooh, we love Devil's Marks, but I still see accumulation, manipulation, and distribution coming on the 4 hour. Do you guys see that? So yesterday, what I showed just now on this area. Um, so yesterday we were in this area, but you see, look how fractal it is. Like what I showed what we did. Do you see accumulation, manipulation, and we're going to distribute? I see it clear more. I mean, I can see AMD now. AMD. So yeah, I guess I'm high. I'm bullish for next week. I like the structure. Potential breaker, future breaker, not a future wife or husband, but a future breaker. Future breaker. It's not activated yet. But we have here, this is similar. Look at what I marked yesterday as well. You see this? I marked two breakers on the 15-minute, one higher and one smaller. It's exactly the same structure. We activated this one here, but one could argue, oh, but it's not activated. Look, you went below it. Yeah, we did, but not below this one yet. So, I mean, we haven't activated yet, so. But you see the same structure, right? Devil's mark here got, you see what happened here? Oh, this is also very interesting. Oh, just look how algorithmic clean it is. It's just beautiful. Now this is one of those tricky sessions again here. So you have one devil's mark here. It created another one. So it wasn't, so you have two devil's marks. So you know, when you see this, you know there will be manipulation underneath this too. And that was yesterday's at 8 o'clock. Remember at 8 o'clock we made the low in this fair value gap here. It was also a 15-minute fair value gap. So see how beautifully, lack of manipulation, lack of manipulation. Here's your manipulation. Boom. Ready for blast off. I like it. So it's all fractal. We could make another low though. This could be the future breaker. So maybe if we go a little bit higher, but we don't take out this low, we go into rejection here, and then this becomes the future breaker. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, it looks. I would like to see one leg lower. Let's go into here, and then this becomes the. I would prefer this to be the breaker. So that gives us more room to go into these, to take the highs of these, because if this would be the breaker here, we go lower, and this becomes the, or maybe another one closer here. Then we have more room to this area here. Yeah, but we'll see. I think next week's going to be interesting. $24.60. Oh, also, which one I really love from Mether? I'll go over the other one that I really like. It's my favorite. Well, it's my second favorite. My favorite one is the end wall. But which one I also like is what he did, and actually he did that on my request a little bit. So I'm very, very thankful for this one. The TGIF. I mean, I don't want to see the retracement levels. I just want to see the percentages. Where are we at in the weekly wick? Oh, okay, this is wrong. alternate. I don't want this. Midlines dotted, yes. Week start, retracement start. No, I don't want to see daily sessions. I don't want to see labels. I want to see the labels, but not the price. No table and only the levels. Here we go. This is what I want. This is what I want to see. I only want to see the weekly high and the weekly low and where we're at. My question is, for today, it's Friday, has the week met its weekly objective? What's the weekly low? We created the low here and the weekly high is here. Does it want to take out liquidity and go back into the range, back into 20 to 40%? I can see that happening, so we might go a little bit higher today. Could be. Now where's the weekly open? I saw on the indicator that there was a way to also indicate the weekly open on here. I think that might be nice to have that in. Where was it? Week start. Week start. Time markers. Let me make it pink. I don't know if I can, did I see it? Week start. Oh, weekly, that's the weekly low then, I guess. Okay, I got you. What time is it? 3 o'clock. Okay, we have market open. We've got a fair value gap here, so let's see if it wants to dig into here and then it wants to go further, or you see it already dug into this one here, not deep, but you want to ask yourself, did we do the job already? We have I think it might reject. I don't think it's going to go into this. I think it might reject here at 23.90 maybe. Let's see. Either it's going to reject here or 23.90. Oh, we've got a beautiful wick here. 2 minute time frame for SCG sell. I don't know if it wants to go lower now. Let's see. Yeah, I wonder if it wants to reject here first and then before really going lower. Let's see if it wants to 24.87, 24.90. Is London open 3 o'clock? Because London high, I marked 2:30 as London high, liquidity in New York session. Well, London open, yes, London opens at 3 o'clock, correct? So it's always 8 o'clock London time. So you also have to be aware, because London, if New York changes time, it happened like a month ago. There's a time shift. Europe is always three weeks later, I believe. So there's always a change. Then London opens at 4 a.m. Eastern, right? So now we are back to normal, and now it's open again at 3 a.m. But until last week, the open was at 4 a.m. But Jay, I don't know if you mark 2:30. You mean standard? You mark 2:30 as London high, or you mean today you mark it at 2:30 as the high here? I don't really understand the question. I think when you mean but London opens at 3 a.m. Eastern now, and London high or low forms. But I already start marking. I didn't do that today. I already start looking at London from 150 macro. So I consider anything that is being created within the 150 macro. If that's a high, I still consider that the London high, to be honest. But that's just how I use it. If that is what you're asking. But most of the times you get a higher high unless we really melt down from 1 o'clock already, then you won't even get a high after 150 macro. Most of the times you don't get a higher high. Sometimes it's just a little sweep at the 150 macro, but here already you see 145, right? Here is around 8 o'clock, Asia high. Yeah, we're already in a downtrend, obviously. Okay, let's see where it wants to go. You see 20% here. See, this could be an accumulation zone for a longer time. I don't know. Or it's A, M, D, or just accumulation. And then go later here. Go up and down. Breaker. Get a high here. Where are my girls? Okay, Jay, are you, okay, that was a question. Just want to make sure that I understood the question correctly. Oh, Sebastian is already gone. It's nearly 2. I'm going to get you all go. Thanks for, oh, Sebastian, thank you. Happy Eastern. And, oh, Sebastian, no, well, hey, just, please share if you're doing something and you want the community to look into it and give feedback. Hey, that's what we're here for. You're probably already gone. Sorry, I didn't read your message, but I'll check with you later on. But interesting. I'm curious what he built. We've got some smart people in the community. Yeah. So I'm looking at this devil's mark here. Bo's already pointed it out. So I'm just wondering, I think it might be a rejection here at first. If it wants to go down there. And maybe even go to 20%, but not take out this liquidity yet. Because if you look at this, this is the fair value gap. We already went into it. Yes, there's more room, but it doesn't have to go lower. But we want to go lower because we want premium and discount, right? Let's see. Are you guys going to trade today? Anyone going to watch the market? Can't see it in your can't see it. Your pictures is in the way, huh? There's nothing to see there. Let me. You want me to change the screen a little bit? I can do that. Um, you want to see consolidation and wicks? I love wicks too, Mr. Chaos. They're chaos. No trading. Yeah, freight trade. Yeah, I'll have a look once in a while. I'm gonna have some lunch and stuff like that, but I'm always curious to see what the market is doing. Yeah, consolidation. Who knows? We're going to do the same. Is this better? Oh, I get it. I was talking about the lows. Yeah, I got you. I got you. I got you. Did already a little bit of a scalp. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still a little bit. I think I'm bullish for next week, to be honest. Um, Especially if we hit this one, if we go through this one again. But we could first reject here and then go lower again, and then so we'll see. But yeah, my eyes are definitely in this area, and um, look how pretty. It's so pretty. Into this fair value gap. Boom, it went off. Now, This looks like a tooth, right? Like what you see on those. Isn't this the Venom? Isn't this the Venom model? This is Venom, right? This is like the Venom model. Who knows? Who has studied the Venom? Am I correct or am I wrong with this one? Isn't this Venom? The two fangs that bite into it and they do the job and then we explode to the upside. Mr. Chaos, I remember you. Oh, much. Yeah, see, yeah, okay, this is the. Yeah, so. Yeah, so I did trade at this area, but obviously my entry was a bit. I didn't even look at it. I did look at the. But now looking in hindsight, that's why it's so nice to, to journal because you see things. Because if you haven't used I use the different things with the opening range gap, but if you are into the Venom, you already also would have been prepared, right? Because it's actually very clean. Yeah. I didn't even see that. That's why I love, looking at the charts and going over it and you see new things and you journal it and you train your brain. And, Martijn, did you trade this area? Did you trade it as Venom or did you trade it, now, if you would use this as a breaker, it's still hard on the 1 hour as well, because where would you get in, right? Because you have your activation. Well, it's still not hard, in all honesty. Let me go over it, because actually it's AMD and it's power of 3. It's also on the 1 hour. If you use this as a breaker, your activation is this one here, and then you have your 1 hour candle here. You see the wick? Again, we go back into the wick. So I traded it up to 0.5, but there was much more room to the upside, right? But if you would have traded just the distribution, you could also just trade the 1 hour distribution candle here. So the breaker, you use 1 hour breaker structure. Here you go, your breaker, your activation, and then this 1 hour candle, the manipulation move, that would have been your entry. So that would have given you your area of entry. Because you have already a confirmation here of the breaker, right? You need confirmation. That's your safe trade. But there were many ways to skin that. I want to say cat, but I always feel bad when I say that. Skin the cat. I'm like, oh my god, I get very visual in my head that I'm skinning my cats or something. But skin the rooster. I hate roosters. But I know that's nasty. I cannot say. You cannot hurt any animal. We don't hurt animals. That is your area of. Let's go to the lower time frame on the 15 minutes. So yesterday there were so many ways to train to play that. Now I missed. So I only played it to. I got in somewhere here, right? With the inversion, I literally just traded it up to here, but also higher time frame. There was still many opportunity, and then trade up to the whole opening range gap. Because for me, it was just midpoint, and that was somewhere here, I believe. But higher time frame, because I didn't use the 15-minute breaker. It was just like, okay, I'm anticipating the activation of the breaker, but I almost traded it just a little bit above it. And then I was done because I just traded to CE of the wick, and I'm very, when it's NFP Thursday, I don't want to be in a trade a long time because look what happened afterwards. It just went into consolidation, and I have been burned a lot on Thursday. So I'm like, okay, I see this, I get 50% of the opening range gap, I'm out. But look how clean actually. If you just pure structural and pure build on logic, Venom model, but also you have a breaker here, and then you have your change in state delivery and your market structure shift. Well, actually, one could argue that it's already here or here, but let's say you don't read the market, you don't trust this, and you take this as market structure shift, then you use this here, the 1 hour manipulation wick, It goes back into the range. You have your confirmation, and let's go a little bit lower to see on the 5 minute how it would do. Because it's hard to trade it when you are not seeing it, but so it's this area here. So you go above it here and then you go below it. But it's difficult when it goes fast, it's hard to see. But that's why you need to journal and start understanding the logic, and then you'll get easier with it. Yeah. Where's the open of the 1 hour candle? 10 o'clock opens. It's a very small wick. That's a very small wick though. Hold on. Hold on. How many points are you? You are from. I'm gonna make a rectangle here. I don't want to see exactly. I want to see the wick, how the wick looks on the lower time frame, because I'm a little bit confused if I look at it. We're just gonna make a small rectangle and see how we could have traded it. Let's just go to the 3 minutes. Because I'm just a little bit. Here we go. So we open here, right? Now I have to go to the 1 minute. I can't do it on the 3 minute. I'm sorry. So that's why you need to go, you need to do the journaling not too far away, because sometimes you can't go back into the 1 minute anymore if you have if you have the standard plan, for example. 9:30. So normally I trade the distribution trades of the 4 hour candle, but sometimes I do it on the 1 hour. But this is one example again that is, where's my, okay, here we go. So activation, so 10 o'clock opens here. 10 o'clock opens, price goes down here, and then so you want to enter in this area here, and then it goes back up again. So I always mark my on my other screen. I always have the 10 o'clock, and then you would see, okay, we go down. But then if you miss it, sometimes you just enter, you can market order in at 10 o'clock again, and you see then it's where the explosion comes, right? So sometimes I'm also struggling, like, oh my God, I want to get into the manipulation week, but then it goes too fast, or I miss it, or I'm just looking on time. But you've got your silver bullet here. This is literally your silver bullet as well yesterday. Look here. Formed within a macro, and at 10 past 3 and 5 you enter. You put your stop below. You want to stop. The best thing is to do it below the wick, but it might be a little bit larger, but so if a micro you can do it, then you're safe. So I didn't even see the silver bullet, to be honest. But yeah, this is your silver bullet. But there's another silver bullet as well here. But this one is better because it's within a macro. You want to enter within a macro. 1008. This one also is a possibility here. But look, this one is a large stop though. This one is a little bit, I don't like this because it's already too high. Yeah. Damn, there were so many, and it was so, this was such a beautiful, beautiful area. Just if I keep looking, I can see more entries, but this was also a beautiful silver bullet. Yep. The only thing with the breaker block that has been created here, so Quaco, I don't know if you were here when I went over my trades. I actually used the 15-minute breaker because I thought it was a little bit unclean in the way, it was clean in the way, but the breaker block wasn't really retested. Normally what you want to see, what makes it easy, I used the inversion as an entry model, but the breaker block, for example here, it was activated here, but it never really retested it properly. It just blasted off. So if I would have used my breaker, I wanted to see a retest of something, like it needs to go into it or a retest, and it didn't give it here properly. It just blasted off here. But I already positioned myself on basis of inversions, and I was anticipating the 15-minute breaker to be activated, but because this didn't really, it made a nice fair value gap, but I was like, yeah, where do I enter? Because there's no, normally you want to see it go back into the break or at least retest it. Same here. If you use this one, it didn't. It sort of like left it be. So for me, it was a little bit difficult to use the breaker, but I just used the inversion in this scenario and put future 15-minute breaker and the opening range gap. But yeah, this is definitely a breaker. But hey, guys, listen, if it hasn't been retested, let me give you a nice gem for today. This will be retested at some point. So you want to mark it. There's no retest. Breakers. So you want to mark this breaker. This area will be of significance at some point. So that's why you see a lot of things on my charts, because it will be used again. Okay. There, around the silver bullet, there is no breaker. I don't know. There is no breaker there. That's not a breaker here. Um, there is no breaker here. The rules for a breaker is you need to sweep into a higher time frame PD array. That means if you're on the 1 minute, you need a sweep for if you're calling this a breaker, it is not technically a breaker because you need a sweep in a high. You don't have a sweep here. It just goes into a lower time frame in a fair value gap. But technically, this is not a breaker because you don't have a sweep into a higher time frame PD array. You can use it as an order block, yes, but this is not technically a breaker. If you want a breaker, this needs to go into a higher time frame PD array, and it just goes into a 1 minute fair value gap. So technically, it's not a breaker. Your breaker is always where you have your sweep in the lower time frame. This here goes into a 15-minute fair value. Here is your structure. Here is your change of structure. A breaker always should be, the breaker is where your market structure shift is. And it indicates the start of your new cycle. The cycle has already been started in this area. Here is where the bullishness comes. You're almost at the end. Normally, when you would use an area like this is the first stage of accumulation, but you're already late to call this a breaker. This should be a breaker. The area of your breaker is always in this, where your market structure shift is. So you also have to ask yourself, what are the rules of the breaker? A breaker needs it needs to sweep into a higher time frame PD array. That happened here, not here. This is silver bullet, but not a breaker. If that makes sense. That's a pattern trading. The logic is you need a sweep in a higher time frame PD array. The logic of the breaker is that you are changing direction. You already changed direction here. The change, it is a PD array here, yes, but it's not a breaker. It's not just a high, low, higher, high. Did it make a sweep into a higher time? No, it did not. That was here. It's a silver bullet, yes, but not a breaker. You have a change in the state of delivery here because you can use the order block, but also that didn't get retested properly, right? If you use a change in the state of delivery, it also didn't retest it. It also didn't retest here. If you use this as I don't know what you're using as a breaker, to be honest. Are you using all these candles, or what are you using as a breaker? I don't see any up close candles here. I see some up close candles, but I don't know if that is your structure. But there is no sweep anything here. Are you using this one here? Well, there's nothing here. Are you using this candle here? You're just in a continuation, and you had a little bit of a yeah. I notice a lot of people just, oh, it's a high, low, high, and that, but there are rules to it. It needs to sweep into a high time peak because there's logic to it. A breaker is the start of a new cycle. The start of the cycle is actually already here because we had a lower low here. This is where we went into this. Here we went into a higher time peak array. Right over here. So the shift has already been happening here. The market structure shift is always around the breaker, and the change state delivery can be a little bit sooner, but those are more treacherous because they can fail. Exactly. I actually made a for my student, and exactly I have that noted. I think I can show you guys what I did for my mentorship, and then you can see the market maker model with the SMR. Exactly. Let me show you guys. I'll share it with you because it's such a valuable. Let me just share it. Then you can see the whole structure. Because there's the breaker. It's not. People mostly trade patterns. They think, oh, blah is a pattern. No, it's not. There's logic to everything. And if you use the calculations from the manipulation of the breaker, it keeps you safe as well. Hold on. Let me share my. I'll share what I shared with her. Now, quite cool. Most of the times when you use that logic, it's still like you can still see, okay, there is like a pattern which is similar to the breaker, and you can still see if there's a fair value gap, it still works, right? But you have to be extremely careful because you don't know how far if you don't use the breaker logic, how far you are in the range. Because if you use that silver bullet area as you already missed most of the move because the a part of the move already has occurred, right? And sometimes the market makers, especially in the 1 minute, they're very small. You might be already at the end of your market maker model, and there might be already a new shift in market structure. Now, this was a massive move, but the logic of the breaker is that the SMR was much lower. Now, for me, it was hard to see the breaker on the lower time. That's why I marked the 15-minute breaker, and I just my logic was, okay, I'm going to front run that larger breaker because I had the opening range gap and I used the IFUG. But I couldn't see a clear 1 minute breaker, to be honest, which gave me a retest and really gave me the knowledge. Okay, I can't, because I trade breakers all the time. It's my favorite. But I could not trade off a breaker in this setup. It did not give me a proper setup. So I had to use other things for this trade. Google Slides, let me just. Okay, I'll share this slide with you guys. Let me share it. Share. How am I going to share this one? Okay, I want to share this slide. Why am I not showing? Why can't I share this slide with you guys? Come on. My window. Properties. Not. Oh, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Okay, here we go. Can you see? This is the slide that I made. You see where the SMR is? So this was basically the full trade, the logic of the full setup that let me make this bigger. Can I make this bigger, this screen? How do I do that? You see, if you look at the structure here, there is no breaker anywhere in the structure where we have the SMR, right? Smart money reversal. So you see we have original consolidation right over here, sell side of the curve, buy side of the curve. So we had sort of like a structure here, but it was a little bit unclear to me on the lower time frame. Like, okay, so I had to go to the higher time frame, and I was looking like, okay, where can I use a break? I just traded up to 50% of the open range gap, which matches that 15-minute IFU fair value gap. Now, I do believe if I'm looking now, I think we've inversed this one. So for me, I'm still bullish. So that's why I'm not shorting now. But in this time, you can see the SMR. I just marked it on the right side, but I think the SMR, the first blue area, I think that was the one, but we didn't retest that area, and I think we're going to use that area in the future. So, but then on the other hand, we sort of we did retest it on the 1 hour. Remember, on the 15-minute here. So the larger breaker. but it was hard to see on the low because you had to look at the left side of the curve. But there was nothing here for me that I could use. And this one didn't, it just blasted through it. And this one gave that 1 hour, remember that 1 hour manipulation, so you could trade the distribution. But yeah, I mean, we inversed this one now, so I do think I think we're going to hold this inversion. So that's why I'm not too bearish for now, but we'll see. But it was a beautiful market maker model. Okay, let's go back. Any questions about this, guys? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so also because of that invert that 15-minute fair value, you get that unmarked, or we inversed it by blasting through it. So that's why I'm also not too bearish now as well. And you can see we are respecting that 15-minute that 15-minute one. So bullish until we have a bearish breaker, and I'm talking higher time frame bearish breaker, at least 15 minutes breaker. Then until then, if I don't see that, I'm gonna stay bullish. Yes, I know. That's why I thought we just do a London session. We go over some stuff and we just hang out together. And but yeah, no, but you know, the U.S. market doesn't have a bank holiday, so the European markets have a bank holiday. But the U.S. market is just open. But do they have are they closing early and the market I market U.S. market time. Are they closing early? But that's weird if they close early. U.S. market times today. The U.S. Are they closing early today? Are you sure? Isn't it 1 p.m. then if they close early? Yeah. CME crypto interest rate and FX products tomorrow at 8:15. Good Friday. 8:15. They close 8:15. I see it on Take Profit Trader. They sent a message 8:15 CT, which is 9:15 New York time. That mostly when they trade, when they have early days, it's like 1:12 CT, so 1 Eastern, right? That's weird indeed. Yeah, I noticed that too, but I read over it very quickly. So that's pretty weird. I wonder if it's really correct. It's weird, right? Yeah, that is very weird. I have no idea. We're not gonna. We're gonna. Well, quick, I went over the logic already. There was no the 1 hour gave a retest, correct? Yes. But there is a lower one that hasn't been retested. So if you traded the upper half of that move, there was a retest, correct? But there was also a lower 15-minute breakaway, which wasn't retested. That's the one you want to keep on your chart. Or anything that's not being retested, you want to keep on your chart, especially if it comes to breakers. Yeah, it was really weird. 9 a.m. today props 9:15. Yeah. Oh, my screen is black. No, I see my screen. I think I'm supposed to be on your side, XXDPD. My screen, my OBS is showing me that my screen is on. Let me know if it's not. Okay, gotcha. You worried me here. I'm like, oh my god, something is wrong again. Well, guys, yeah, I didn't expect too much because of the day, so I thought maybe let's make it some educational. Do you guys? Well, do you guys have any questions? Yeah, thank you. I was like, oh my god, what's going on now again? I had so many problems in the beginning when I started streaming, and it really is like it gives you a lot of stress in the beginning. It's like when you're just starting out, you all this little technical stuff. But at some point you start getting used to it, and you know what to check every time. And the one time you don't check, for example, sound, or you're like, oh, everything's good, and suddenly it doesn't work. But yeah, but every time I see something technical, oh my god, what now? I think I have everything covered now. So it always gives me a little bit of a fright. But anyway, again, are you guys going to do some studying, or are you besides having fun, hanging out with loved one, peers, whatever, friends, are you guys going to do some studying the markets or anything market related, back testing, whatever? It was just, I mean, in all honesty, yesterday's move, it was just so beautiful. Um, and I mean, it doesn't happen a lot that is you get an easy 200-point trades, right? So am I a little bit upset that I didn't take any, hey, bye, thank you, XXP. Yeah, I think we're not gonna make it. I mean, guys, I think we're just gonna touch some grass and have some fun today. I think we're not gonna hang out too long because there's not much to do. I don't think there might be one suddenly that it makes the move, but look how it's giving a lot of trend line here. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to sit through this. Trader Tao, no, we just went over some yesterday's trade possibilities, just some educational stuff, and I hope I could, just bring some value instead of just watching paint dry. So we went over I mean, it was a 200-point trade, even though it was demo. It was just awesome, just pretty awesome. And so many opportunities. So we went over that just to see, okay, how can you benefit from those moves? Because London gave a lot of information already. Yeah, so that's it. We could do that more often. Also some educational stuff, just, a little bit more instead of just waiting and watching paint dry. Any questions, guys? Because I think I don't want to watch the markets too long because I don't think it doesn't have my interest at the moment. I would rather really, in all honesty, journal and go over some models and see if I can find any. You are back to no, Mr. Chaos Factor. There is no New York session apparently. We're closing at 9:15 apparently. So it's really weird. There's NFP. Well, NFP, it makes sense. It's still at 8:30, right? But I think if I look at Forex Factory, all the news, even after 8:30, are still there. This is so weird. Now, hold on. $9:45, it has financial services PMI. 9:45. I think I think it's a mistake of the early. Isn't the early close always at 1 p.m. Eastern? If it's an early close, I've never seen a close at the open time. So I think it's a mistake of take prof. I think everyone. The only mail that I got is from Take Profit Trader. I don't see any other mail of any other prop firm. Freighter, how long have you been trading? So in total, I think it's 6.5 years now. 3.5 years retail, and then the last 3 years ICT. But I think I made my big change. Literally is I don't think it's from. I think it's a year now. From a year that I really see. I started journaling. I think 1.5, 2 years ago. I think yeah, because I didn't maybe a little bit longer. And my it's so hard, those timelines. I just keep forgetting things. But then I start really improving and then starting to look at specific models and specific PD rates that I really liked. And I really specialized myself in the breaker and rejection block. And then came the time element for me, and I added time elements. And then let's say the larger moves, let's say the 100 and plus points that so literally I don't take any trades anymore under 50 points, and I'm sort of like I'm programmed to do that. That really is something that I have been doing not that long actually. I went back into my journals and I'm like, oh, I really started doing that when I got really more into prop trading, because a few times I got an email, oh, you're too fast in and out, and I'm like, oh my god, and I got really like nervous, like, oh my god, yeah, you're scalping, or you are hyper. I don't know what they said, but in any way, you're not allowed to. And sometimes it was 20 seconds, sometimes it was, and I was like, okay, I need to change my strategy. I really need to focus on those larger moves, and I really dug deep into that. And I think this year, I only have 50 plus. I average 50 between 250 points on NQ, because I just program myself to do that, and only that. But that is something from yeah, I think 8 months back that I became consistent with that. So that's really something that I've been working really hard on, and I can't get it out of my system for some reason. I'm almost allergic to. And it sounds horrible. I don't want to. I said a few times on stream, I want to get better in scalping. But then on the other hand, I'm thinking, yeah, but maybe sometimes you just have to stick to what you're good at. And I really feel comfortable with those larger moves because I collect more intel on them. I have more insight of the market maker model. Where am I? Am I on the buy side? Is the buy side? Which algo is running? And I sort of need that for myself a little bit. So yeah, Mr. Chaos Factor, I'm also confused, but I'm also not interested in trading, to be honest. So if the market closes, but yeah, I think I don't think we ever have a market close at 9:15, right? I don't think I've ever seen it. It's most of the times half a day, because there's no holiday in the US. It's just, it's not a bank holiday, so I guess Yeah, but I'm not fracture. I'm not as long. I'm not trading as long as you are, but I hope. Yeah, I don't. I think I will. I think I will. I can see myself trading for a long time because I don't think it will bore me because there's so much to study, there's so much to learn and to improve. Right? You learn something, but the moment you start learning something, um, well, Fred, I also think if I start scalping again, I am more. If I do that, I tend to also go on tilt faster. It's harder to follow rules because everything goes faster, and there's less rules. Well, there are rules, but I just don't. I don't know if I really like it. And if you don't like it, I guess But technically, if you think about just a 20, 30 point trade, it doesn't have to be a scalp, right? It can still be very. For me, it has to be all about logic. I need so much logic, and it has to be as mechanical as possible. And that's how I approach the trading, and that's why I'm very strict also with Priya. I said, no, these are the rules, and they keep you safe. And sometimes you will miss a trade. So what are the rules? What's the logic? Does time match with the rules? Time over price, always. Time over, because if there's an algo running, it will be time scripted. There's only one way you can script an algo. You cannot script it against price, because how do you know it will be delivered at a price? If there's an algo, if you believe in an algo, we obviously have non-believers, but if you believe in an algo, ask yourself, if I'd be asked to code it, what would be your benchmark? Can you script it against price? No, you can't, because price changes all the time. So there's only one thing left. You can only script it against time. And that's why time is more important than price. When people say time over price, it has a logic. It's not just something randomly, but that's because it's scripted to do specific things in specific time cycles. And they vary, those cycles. So you have to understand the cycle. But yeah, it's all logic. For me, it's all logic. It has to be logic, logic, logic. And if there's no logic, you can see me being confused. And if I trade, it doesn't tend to work. But then afterwards, if my trade doesn't work, I always ask myself, okay, what is the logic that I missed, or is it something new that's happened? And it always comes back to the same thing. I'm in accumulation. For example, yesterday's London trade, a beautiful example again. It didn't take out the liquidity, and in hindsight, it was creating the liquidity for that New York move. So. Yeah, only one good scalper there is Tom Hugard. I guess he has nerves of steel. For me, scalping is a big no-no. I guess it also has to do with your personality, right? If you are, but also I think I can become a good scalper if I start trading. And if a good scalper would train me and bust my, really like, okay, these, blah, 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 you do this, you do that, and you program yourself. I'm already programmed now. But I'm like, is it a bad thing how I program? I'm like, no, it's not a bad thing that I program myself in this way. I think it's actually good for me. So, but then again, it's always nice to add something. But I am trying to take smaller trades on stream, but they have to be built on logic, on the same logic, and I'm doing that, and also with my student, because you have to start small, but it's still based on logic. And I don't consider actually 20 to 30 points a scalp, and it should not be considered a scalp. I think that's a wrong approach. Because a scalp can still, 20 to 30 points can still be a whole macro, right? So, can still move. Let's hope next week we get into better price action. So we can use our. Oh, am I still on? Yes, I think I am, right? Yeah. Okay, guys. I don't have much more to add. There won't be anything else today anymore. I think it's the start of the weekend now. I'm gonna have some lunch with a friend that came back in town. But I haven't heard from anyone what you guys are doing for the if you're going to test something or study or just enjoy the weekend. I'm just curious what you guys are doing market-wise during these days, if you spend any time into the markets. Or am I really the only nerd? I guess so. The reason I'm actually asking if there should be a little thing on the Discord just to get together and maybe discuss a topic or something. That's why I'm asking. But I'll post a stream. I'll post something in the Discord. See if there's any interest. Um, I mean, I will post a little bit later. If let me post it in the Discord. Okay, let me just. I haven't. Let me post for new people that are on the stream. If you want to join the free Discord, I just started the Discord as a means to be able to communicate with you guys in a different way. And I love to hear your voices. And last time I did a small session, and Jay was there, and Michael was there. We just went over Price in the New York PM session a little bit, and it was really nice to hear you guys' voices and get to know you guys a little bit better. So that's maybe the purpose, and obviously I use it for the mentorship. I don't do any like I don't well no I'm not yeah, it's just to communicate better. But yeah, let me just put the link in here for those who are not. It was really nice. I really enjoyed the little, and there was just we were with a very small. Oh, Fred, I hate washing windows. I hate it. That's the only thing I really hate doing. But once it's done, it's so nice to watch them, right? Okay, this is the Discord. If you're not in yet, feel free to join. Because sometimes when I have internet issues or something like that, I can quickly go on my phone and, put a message in the Discord. Oh, I can't get on, or if something after hours, I can. It's a good way to just keep in touch with you guys. But it's so sunny. I need to. Oh. It's the only thing I really hate doing. And my windows. I've got large windows, as you can see, right? You see all those those windows, but also the outdoor shower is all window. I've got like really a large window here that I can't even reach. I need someone to do that. Also, it's too dangerous. But also, my other area is a lot of windows as well. So I've got a lot of window cleaning to do all the time, and I hate it. I hate it. So I don't do it a lot. I'm also very bad at washing my car, going to the car wash, just sitting there and waiting. I'm like, oh, so my car's so dirty. It was even funny because we have like a little nature reserve here. It's a beach and it's like a forest. And the guys, their security, and they always make fun of me when my car gets really dirty. They say, oh my, and now they make fun of me. They say, when your car's too dirty, we're not going to let you in anymore. And I'm like, okay, it's a joke, obviously, but then I know like, okay, I really need to. They're like, you cannot treat your car like that. Come on. It's a nice car. Don't treat it. Wash it at least once 3 or 4 months. But I'm in the bush, so it's windy here, and it's like it gets dirty very quickly. I'm like, I can't even be bothered. And I like to go off road as well sometimes, so I like that. I've got a little Jimny, so a little 4x4. So you're supposed to go off road with it. You're supposed to have like a little bit adventurous, right? But anyway, yeah. Well, okay, yeah. So Freita, I wish you happy window washing this Easter. I actually need to do them myself as well. So I'll definitely do a few windows, not all of them, but I'll do a few. Yes. Any questions? Anyone else wants to question or? Yeah, I'll do a little poll in the Discord to see if people want to have a little small get together, maybe on one of the days. And Monday, is Monday a holiday as well? I think so, right? I'm so confused with these days. So guys, I live literally in a place. For me, it feels like holiday every day. My life is just, I've got my beach and my forest around, and I've got, for me, life is just. I enjoy my life so much. So I don't mind doing this because it's just a few hours per day, and after that, I have my life is just about just enjoying and doing things that I like. So, what am I looking for? Oh yeah, I wanted to look for if Monday was a holiday. It's Eastern, right? So there is no trading. But I didn't see anything. US is open, a PMI on Monday. I don't think it's a holiday on Monday. Well, anyway, I'll keep you updated in the Discord, just to what we're doing. Otherwise, we're going to do some educational stuff again together on YouTube. We'll see. Yeah, EU. I know EU has a holiday, but we'll see. I mean, I'll post it on the Discord. We'll see what's the best way to do it. But I do want to get together and just make it most valuable and as we can. Okay, guys, I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna get ready for my lunch with my friend that I haven't seen for a long time. I really, really want to wish you all, and I'm happy to see still a lot. I think there's still a nice group of people that are, still hanging out in the markets. And yeah, just let me know if you have specific topics you want to maybe address during the stream or something. I just want to add some value to the streams as well. I'm not going to go that deep into it, but just things that you are, you know, um, things that are out there and generally speaking, like, okay, I'm doing this and I'm using this PD array, but how do you use it? Or can maybe the chat, maybe it's better to go on the Discord because then you guys can also talk. So then you can guys share your knowledge together as well. I think that's nice. Let's do it. Let's do a, just for the group, the Discord, and then you guys can talk as well. So if you have any subject, let me know, and then we'll organize something. I'm still interested in the gold bar. It's on my to-do list, but we'll get into that for those who are interested. But we need a few gold bar traders already that can guide us and can. But I'm definitely interested in doing some gold bar sessions for us who are interested, just to get some more knowledge on it and see if we interpret it the correct way with the information that's out there. So, but yeah, that being said, enjoy your week. You guys enjoy too, and thank you guys. I love you guys. It's been such an amazing. I mean, we had such a hard time these months, but the community has just been the best thing of this whole YouTube stream for me personally. So I wish you happy Eastern weekend, Passover weekend, or just regular weekend. And I'm going to post something in the Discord. If there's no interest, it's fine with me as well. I mean, you're not hurting my feelings at all. Don't worry about it. But I'll just post something if people want to have a small get together and see if there's any time specifically that people can manage. Okay, enjoy your day, guys, and have fun. Have fun. And I'll see you back next week or in the Discord somewhere this weekend, maybe. Ciao, ciao.